Hello, this is going to be a video on a video by a guy named Solomonster who does videos, podcasts. He has a podcast. Good luck getting that. I'm sure it's good work if you can get it. Podcasting is kind of like being a gynecologist that only works with very attractive Norwegian girls. It's good luck if it's good work if you can get it. But anyways, I can and don't know how. But the point being is. So this is kind of my excuse for a podcast. So stay with me for a minute while I go down this road video. I wanted to make a video now for a few days. I didn't really know what to make it about, so I didn't. And let's just see how long this guy lasts watching me before he cashes out on me. Anyways, for now, I've wanted to make a video for a few days now, but didn't know what to make it on. But I finally found something that really caught my attention, and I did blog about this a little bit earlier. I've been blogging a lot about my interests, and primarily tonight actually. And it didn't start this way, but it just kind of took shape. On my blog, Humanist Philosophies, I have been blogging about various things our society has collapsed, and so far I have taken note, and it is a record of Sci-Fi Channel, Spike TV, the Fuse Music Channel, Much Music, at least in America. Pretty much the entire vampire genre of films, multiple wrestling companies, and really, to be honest with you, the entire rock and roll genre. The current management class, who is taking ideals from people like this guy, by the way, that are so much smarter than the rest of us. They have collapsed all of those things and are continuing to collapse more things. And why? Because they are incompetent, corrupt geeks who know jack shit about what the fuck the rest of us actually like or what we're willing to buy. But anyways, moving into this, and he was largely agreeing with me, and he was on my side this time. And I used to watch his shit a lot because I thought he was very good. And I'm pretty sure he blocked me on, I think it was Podbean. And at one point, I think he was on Sound. I think he was on what was the other? Podbeam, whatever the fuck. He was on another channel. I think it was if I'm not mistaken, he was on, what was the name of that? Something scoops.com, I forget. But anyways, he's pretty good, and I think he blocked me from commenting on his podcast, and I used to comment to him a lot, and at this time I didn't quite understand the concept of commenting and posted probably too many comments and too many threads. And maybe that's one reason why he dropped my ass. But the point is, his name is Solomonster, and he's right about some stuff, and he has a lot of good ideas. And then he's wrong about some shit. One thing he's wrong about, and I'm sick of hearing about in general, is this feminist narrative that they keep talking about, that women used to be humiliated in the past, and it was unfair treatment of women in the wrestling business, at least on screen. I don't know what happened behind the screen, and I don't know if they were kept out of the TV show for years. But I do know on screen that's just not the case, other than a few years starting between the years of 2008 and 2013. And anyone that watched the fucking product knows this to be true. And this is totally unrepresentative of the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression Era or TNA. Because they were featured very prominently on and predominantly on those shows. They were featured often. They were on there very many times, doing much things. And they even got the TNA, I know at least the Knockouts, to their credit, got better ratings in some cases than the men did. And they were competing with guys like Kurt Angle who were on the show, and their segments in some cases beat his segments and came out on top. And Russo has talked about that. Vince Russo, another guy this guy doesn't like, by the way, but yet he'll go on to put over the Attitude Era, even though there's some things he doesn't like, even though he has crapped on Vince Russo many a time over, doesn't want to give the guy any damn credit. And let's be honest, like the rest of them would not have the balls to interview him or to say this to his face, just the same as he does not mine. And that's a shame, because I would love to debate the guy. But the point being is this, he puts over the Attitude Era, and he shits on a guy from something called GameSpot, who was a complete fucking asshole, because he basically said the entire goddamn Attitude Era was not as good as Becky Lynch and Daniel Bryan's recent anti-environmentalist character. He was an environmentalist, but he was like supposed to be evil or some shit. So let's get this straight. All of the horse shit that you had said for all those so many years about toxic masculinity, basically what we're saying it is now, and about how the WWE represented a right wing, ultra male version of things, versus a actual right wing character that they were running now that is supposed to basically be anti-environmentalist. Well, not now, but he was being ran as an anti-environmentalist, and they were running this character, who, by the way, started out as Occupy Wall Raw, based on Occupy Wall Street, and was a fan favorite. They turned him into a heel and ran him as this right-wing ideal of everything wrong with the left. Now they're actually running right-wing propaganda, but that's okay. That's fine with you. But when they used to run Attitude Era, you didn't like it. So that's versus what, or compared to what? I don't know, Sable's handprint bikini, where she had handprints on her tits, or Val Venus's character, and I'm gonna go into that in a minute. But that's worse than the Attitude Era. How? So what you're basically telling us is what then? That you didn't really give a rat's ass about the left and about real lifting values and progressive humanist values that I represent, liberal values that I represent and believe in. No, you care more about presentation than real content or real substance. That's what you're telling us. But also, I want to say this: the Attitude Era, again, the show that got 8 million viewers. And again, I'm sorry if it's not politically correct enough, but we are talking about wrestling. You know, it's not politically correct, and yeah, it's a little bit trashy at times. They had basically a blonde chick with big tits with about $1 million in a bank account bark like a dog. So because of that, it's bad. Versus, again, the same show, a couple of years before that, by the way, they almost castrated, in Story, the Val Venus character, almost. And they also went on to electrocute Shane McMahon's testicles, Kane did. And they did a number of other things, embarrassing man and making fun of him. They had Jim Ross kiss Vince McMahon's ass. They did everything but smear his face in his fucking anus. But all of that's okay then, I guess, right? And that's supposed to be funny, not to mention mocking Paul Bearer's death that no one said a damn thing about when he died, and dumping the ashes, the pretend ashes, on the Undertaker. And again, this is Percy Pringles, or whatever his name was, who died in real life. All of that, by the way, was okay, but not Trish barking like a dog 20 fucking years ago, and you're still gonna goddamn talk about that now, 2 decades later. Okay, well, let's understand this then. And again, that was storyline driven or story driven. And that was based on defining and developing characters, leading to a face turn for her in a heel, well, not heel turn, but a face turn for her, and to build to Shane McMahon returning, eventually defeating Vince McMahon at the pay-per-view. So it was all story driven, and it was all character defined, and not a damn bit of it was supposed to be taken seriously, and none of it was defending fucking making women bark like a dog, even tacitly. He was the bad guy. Now let's compare that to shit that you do promote as comedy and is supposed to be okay, it's supposed to be good, that you have done to men and humiliating men. And one of those things and I'm not going to bring up anything specifically because that's pretty much what feminists are good at, bitching about shit that is not even real. But there was one thing, at least I remember, that pissed me off so much I actually have made multiple videos about it, that happened. And one of the writers was a feminist, by the way, and she went on to write for Marvel. And she was making one of the Marvel movies from a couple of years ago that was a huge thing. And yet she was shown as basically doing everything but just straight up raping, and basically raping a male character that was, at least in storyline or on the show, underage, with no character development, and with no storyline and no backstory given really whatsoever. And they did this. But you're going to bitch about a story-driven, character-driven good guy being humiliated by a story-driven, character-driven bad guy 20 goddamn years ago on a fucking wrestling show that was TV 14 rated, and maybe should have been TVM, I don't know, but it was TV 14 rated, and that 8 million people liked and watched and bought. But goddamn it, that's not okay. But what you say is okay is okay. So what you're saying really is you're putting your God, like Charles Manson used to say, you're putting your God up over my God. You're telling me what to watch and what I should like. So that's what I object to. And I object to your inconsistent, hypocritical, critical, in this self-righteous bullshit that you're going to force your fucking view of what should be okay and should be allowed on TV on me. Because I don't tell you to watch the fucking View and all this other TMZ, politically correct feminist horseshit that you say is okay. I don't tell you you can't watch that. So why tell me I couldn't watch a show that I had been watching for 20 fucking years? You have no goddamn right to tell me that. And I enjoyed it, and so did 8 million other fucking people. And all WWE has gotten by being listening to people like you and being geared in the direction they're currently being geared in is the loss of 5 to 6 million viewers that you talk about hypocritically while you're the exact fucking reason they lost them. Because we can't see Trish bark like a dog with storylines or affairs or love triangles or love angles, storylines, romance angles, or really anything else anymore that's worth a fuck. Because goddamn it, they have to be politically correct. So no more Katie Vick, no more hot lesbian action, no more Belly and Chuck Redding, no more Trish bark like a dog, no more choppy or PP Val Venus, no more electrocuting Shane's nuts, no more setting Jim Ross on fire, no more of this shit that was edgy and controversial that people couldn't look away from, that was shocking, that got your attention, that told stories involving bad guys and good guys. It's like real life. And if you want any example of these things happening in real life, look up ISIL. Look at the shit that happened in the Middle East. This shit happens. And as long as there's a bad guy doing it, who gives a fuck? But no, you're going to define and decide for the rest of us what's okay for us to watch. Fuck you. Pay 666.